If you're feeling the intensity right now of every little pain coming up, every little last bit of childhood wounds, maybe even stuff that you thought you'd already healed, but it's going through that last cycle, that last round of clearing everything out. You might be feeling heaviness, you might be feeling a lot of pain right now, you might be feeling that deep darkness that you experience as the light is purifying you and emerging from within you. You're not alone. I'm right here with you. Lots of the inner child has been coming up. Prior wounds have been coming up to be fully healed and cleared. A week and a half ago, my inner child came up and expressed some sadness when I heard coworkers talking about getting drunk at the Halloween party that they went to, and I felt left out. And I can rationalize it with my mind that there's no reason for me to feel hurt at being left out, but this was something that just triggered that inner child, that part of me, that pain that I'd felt when I was younger. And of course, the mind can really talk negatively about what you're experiencing. It can belittle the inner child, but you can be a space of love and presence for whatever you're feeling and be okay with whatever comes up for you. It doesn't diminish you in any way. I sat down and I did some journaling around this, and this is what I wrote. The reality of you being left out only exists in your mind. The reality you experience is the only reality that exists at that moment. Everything else is what you make up. If you have a belief about being excluded, then you act in a way to make it true. Your mind finds evidence of it. You embody that vibration and it becomes part of your field, and the world reflects that reality back to you. In the last live stream we were going over notes that I made from the video by Awaken by Pradnya, and you can go back and listen to it. But there was something very interesting that she was mentioning in talking about awakening to 5D consciousness, awakening to unconditional love, is that you embody a certain vibration and that gets projected out into your field and results in certain experiences coming back to you that reflect that. So that's exactly what I'm talking about here in that last point. It starts with the consciousness that we embody and project unconsciously, but then becomes such a vicious loop that it seems something immutable and unchangeable. So initially I felt an urge to do something in response to the feeling of being left out or the perception of it. And I felt the urge to judge my coworkers as not worthy of my time, to try and diminish their worth in some way to make myself feel better, make themselves feel less than me. And as we talked about in this last live stream, I was reminded of this comparison. That is the old paradigm that we are leaving behind. But of course, this will show up within the paradigm of a pattern of the inner child, of that conditioning that we grew up in. Okay, so the second thing that I felt as an urge to do something in response to feeling left out is rationalizing how I wouldn't have enjoyed it anyways, even if I was invited. Also, the ego engaged even more to enhance the feeling of being a victim by feeling hurt that they don't like me enough to invite me. So there's where the ego will inflate its importance. And this is a step beyond just the stepping into and feeling the feeling of feeling left out. It's where there's an avoidance of feeling that, and so then the ego comes up with a way to avoid feeling that vulnerable feeling, and it comes up with this self-righteous paradigm where I've been wronged. So another urge that I felt in response to the feeling of feeling left out is, I want to get another job so I don't have to be around these immature coworkers. I recognize that came up as a judgment. So these thoughts triggered other thoughts around diminishing things that I've been feeling around other issues in my life. So as you can see, the thoughts will pile on top of each other and lead you to not a very happy place. I felt the contrast of me feeling left out and me wanting to be better than my coworkers, to have a better life than them, a better experience, and how that led to jealousy when the pattern perceived that someone might have a better time than me. Of course, in this moment, the live stream that we'd just done was fresh in my mind, and I was thinking about how we talked about how this old paradigm is all around judgment, contrast, competition with others, wanting to feel better than others, wanting to be popular. That was a specific point mentioned in Sonia Choquette's video, which I just had 2 slides on, just went over it briefly. So as this was percolating in my mind, I realized that no one's experience is better than anyone else's. And then I remembered the principle of not avoiding certain experiences and not pursuing other experiences. And it's called equanimity. And you can find a discussion on this in a video by Leo Gura on his channel actualize.org, where it talks about 10 things you don't know that you wish you had. I realized there was an innate perfection to my life as the people at work triggered this pattern and this emotional pain to be released. I am in the perfect place at the perfect time. Nothing needs to change. And realizing this felt really beautiful.